Hi guys, welcome to Telecom TV. It's been a long time. Today the topic that we are going to discuss is about LTE. So we are going to have a lot of discussions on LTE today. So what is basically LTE? LTE is long-term evolution. So it was developed by some third generation partnership projects. So it is basically it's for the UMTS. So what is UMTS? UMTS is a Universal Mobile Telecommunication Systems. So this LTE is actually improved over 3G technology, but not equal to the 4G technology. So LTE is actually a transition from like a 3G to the 4G. So compared with coming to this 3G technology, we have like this LTE is going to offer a lot of technical advantages. So what are the advantages that LTE is going to offer over the 3G architecture? If you're going to discuss on what are the advantages, like we can like basically there'll be a high data the transmission rate is going to be a good, and this LTE is going to provide a downstream peak like around 100 mbits, like an upstream peak of around 50 mbits. So the data rate is going to increase, and we'll have a improved spectrum efficiency as well. So and an increased network and flexibility. So what is this advantages, other advantages this LTE can give? You have a quality of service guarantee. That is like you have a better quality of service for whatever services that you have opted for. And there will be a delay, the delay which is there in the telecom network. So the delay is going to reduce in the wireless domain in the 4G. In this transition from this 3G to the LTE that you can think about. So an LTE, if you take an LTE cellular interface, it's actually a physical interface which supports the long-term evolution technology compared with this 3G technology. So LTE technology provides enterprises like with high bandwidth wireless WAN access services, etc. So why this LTE technology was deployed? Like mostly, like if you see LTE technology maximum, they provide a lot of routers for the interconnection between like the enterprises, the medium-sized enterprises to give them a connection. So compared with this 3G technology, the LTE technology is going to provide a higher bandwidth on wireless LAN networks. So that transmit more voice, data, and video services for enterprise users. Enterprises now can use LTE technology to replace whatever is the wired WAN links like Ethernet, the frame relay, the ISDN links as such. So the LTE network architecture is actually different from a traditional 3GPP network. The LTE network uses the single layer architecture, so that combines the radio network controller, that's the RNC, and the node B nodes into what's called the EUTRON, and the node B, that is the which is the E node B. So the E node B nodes, if you see what's the E node B node, completes the circuit switching on the base stations. This single layer architecture comprises like the network, shortens the system delay, and reduces the cost in the network construction and the maintenance. So if you see the PDN gateway, it's the packet data network gateway, which connects the user elements to an external PDN. So the serving gateway, like it routes and forwards data packets and manages user mobility as well as the mobility between the LTE and the 3GPP. So what does this SDSN do? SDSN is the serving GPRS support node, which is an important part of the packet switch domain on the general packet radio service. Time division, synchronous code division, multiplexing. You'd have heard of Y division, code division, multiple access WCDMA. So the SDSN mainly routes and forwards packets and manages mobility sessions and logical links and performs authentication and encryption and exports call detail records. That's the CDRs if we call. So what does the eNode B? So eNode B connects to the serving gateway using what is called an S1 UP interface and communicates with the user element using what's called a UU interface. So completing protocol between these layers. So the UE is nothing but the user equipment. So if you see on the 3G and the 4G networks, the user elements will include the mobile phones, your smart terminals, your tabs, multimedia devices, whatever you use for videos, your streaming devices, everything. So this is how like a connection for this 4G architecture is basically made. So how the call setup is done. So if LTE initiates something called a dial-up connection is which in which like you automatically dial up and dial on demand. Like it's a step-by-step process where you make a connection setup request and the connection setup request is being identified, and then you said this connection like it gives and assigns an IP address, and it will instruct the cellular interface to go up physically, then negotiate the IP address, and the connection is set up. This is how an LTE dial-up setup is being taken. All right, this is just a basic overview of what the 4G architecture means. You can post your questions, we can have some queries, and thanks for all my the subscribers who are listening to my talks. So we'll have a more communicative section in the future days. Thank you, and have a nice day. Cheers.